Welcome students. So today we are starting with the inflammation and healing part 3. So last in part 2 we have studied about inflammation and healing where we are elaborated about acute inflammation, the vascular events. So today we are going to study the the acute inflammation part of cellular events. So as already I have told you regarding these two events are simultaneously going inside the human body, but for the understanding purpose we have divided into vascular and cellular events. So continuing with the cellular events, so this consists of two processes. One is exudation of leukocytes and phagocytosis. So before we go further, I want to clarify one more thing, that you can find some of the terminology already we have used in vascular events. As I will repeat that these processes are going simultaneously. So vascular and cellular events. Only we are dividing for understanding purpose. So going for first part of cellular events, that is exudation of leukocytes. So exudation means escape. So this is the escape of leukocytes take from lumen of the microvasculature. So to the interstitial tissue. I feel we have studied in when we are talking about vascular event something called as a exudate and transited. So here there is a free flow of the plasma takes place from the vessel wall. Also some of the components also go out of the vessel walls, right? So that are leukocytes also go out of the vessel wall, right? So same thing we are elaborating in detail here in the cellular event. So in acute inflammation, so polymorph nuclear neutrophils, we call it as a PMNS. So compromise the first line of body defense, followed by later by monocyte and macrophages. So this is also we have studied that whenever there is an inflammation occurs, so our first defense mechanism is first to come for fighting off any obnoxious agent entering in our body or any injury occurs to our body. So here also we are elaborating one on that. So this exudation of leukocytes will takes place in four sequences. So we can elaborate this particular exudation of leukocyte in four different changes. That is, first is changes in the form element of blood. So first, whenever there is exudation of leukocyte, so first we have form changes in the form element of blood. Second, we are having rolling and adhesion. Then we have migration, and lastly, we are having is a chemotaxis. So these are the steps we are going to face. How exactly the leukocytes will go out of the vessel wall to the extracellular fluid. So going for the first, that is changes in the formed element of blood. So in vascular events, we have talked about that there is a vasoconstriction followed with vasodilatation takes place. So whenever there is a vasoconstriction takes place, so blood get accumulated at one particular point, right, because of the constriction, and the moment progressive dilatation takes place, so the blood flow is increased to the other part because it is already blocked. So definitely it is going to have a increased flow of blood, and subsequently there is a slowing or stasis. So because blood is collected more and more, and we have more of the components are collected, right? Some of the plasma protein is already moved out because of the altered vascular permeability. So we have components more, concentration of components are more, that is RBC, WBC, platelets and all. So we have slowing of, there is an increased flow as well as there is a slowing of the flow takes place. So the blood moves slowly because the barriers which needed is less, that is plasma proteins are less for movement of the blood. So again we have discussed something called as the axial flow. So this axial flow, what do you mean by axial flow? That is, the components moves at the central level and the plasma at the peripheral level. So now this axial flow is disturbed because of vasoconstriction, vasodilatation, and slow elasticity. So these three processes will disturb your normal axial flow, right? So whenever these disturbance occurs, right? So we can see so many changes, right? So these, because of these thing slowing and all, the central stream is widen up because the components are more. The central stream is bigger one now, right? Before we have free flow, so they are having their normal sequence of flow, but because of this abnormality, the flow is widen up, right? And it has slowing down, and mainly because of narrowing of vessel wall, right? And also loss of the plasma by exudation. So already we have studied in vascular changes that we have loss of plasma into the interstitial spaces because of exudation, right? Where the altered vascular permeability occurs. And this phenomena of axial loss of axial flow and widening of the uh, your blood components is known as margination. So here your components will move to the margins of the vessel wall. So this is called as a margination, and as this result of redistribution of neutrophils at of the central column comes closer to the vessel wall. So here your neutrophils is moving towards the vessel walls, and this process is known as pavementing, right? So first is margination, where it goes to the margins, and neutrophils coming to the vessel wall, closer to the vessel walls, and this process is called as a pavementing. So once this happens, it moves for the next process of cellular events. So here we have to remember vasodilatation. Because of that, we have increased blood flow. Next, slowing or stasis, right? Where our because of the vasoconstriction and vasodilatation, and here there is a disturbance in the axial flow occurs. The moment axial flow disturbances occurs, the moment of the central process is widen up the components, right? Because of that, there is a margination occurs, that is the movement of your components to the margins of the vessels, and the neutrophils moves towards the vessel wall, that is called as a pavementing. Followed with this process, we have continued in rolling and adhesion. So what do you mean by rolling and adhesion? So there is a peripheral margination by pavementing of neutrophils, right? And this will move slowly towards the endothelial cells, right? So once it moves to the endothelial cells of vessel wall, this particular phase is called as a rolling. So your neutrophils are rolling towards the, so this is your vessels, and the neutrophils are going to the near to the vessel wall, and these are rolling and rolling and rolling. This is called as a rolling phase, right? Now once they are rolling to the vessel wall, this particular thing is followed by a transient bond between the leukocyte and endothelial cells, right, which become firm. That process is called as a adhesion. Now these neutrophils are adhere to the your endothelial cells. So this process is called as a adhesion or adhesion phase. Now once the adhesion phase is over, we move on to the next phase, that is called as a immigration. I feel this terminology already we have gone through when we are talking about vascular event. So one more we are elaborating this particular uh, terminology. So after adhesion phase, we are land up into emigration phase. So what exactly the emigration is? So After sticking of neutrophil to the endothelium, the formal move along with the endothelial cell. Still, a suitable size between the endothelial cell is found where the neutrophil throw out cytoplasmic pseudopod. So, the rolling phase is continued where attached the neutrophils attached to the endothelium, and till it moves where they can find a suitable place where that the neutrophil can move out of the vessel wall, right? So that particular process is called as a immigration. So subsequently, the neutrophil lodged between the endothelial cells and basement membrane cross the basement membrane by damaging it locally with secreted cholineases. So it secretes the cholineases and escape out into the extracellular space. So this is known as a process of immigration. So your neutrophils will move out of the endothelial cell in the extracellular spaces. So this process is called as a immigration. Now, when they are moving, also there is a movement of or escape of red blood cells also takes place. So this particular movement of red blood cells is known as a diapedesis. Right? So you have to remember, immigration is for leukocyte and diapedesis is for red blood cells. So followed with this process of immigration, so I want to tell you how exactly these processes take place. One more. First is, this is the normal flow what we are having, right? Axial flow. Now there is a disturbed normal flow is taking place where we have more of the components. You can see here more of the components are there and they are going towards the, so this axial flow is lost, they are moving towards the vessel wall, that is called as a margination, and pavimenting takes place, right? Now next, followed with roaring and adhesion. So here you can see your neutrophils are going towards the endothelial cells and they are rolling, right? Then they get adhered to the endothelial cells of the vessel wall, right? Once it occurs, then the process of immigration takes place. What is immigration? It is the movement out of the vessel wall to extracellular fluid, extracellular spaces. So your neutrophils are moved outside, right? This is called as a immigration, and your RBCs also move out of the vessel wall in this process. So this is called as a diapedesis. So followed with this particular sorry, followed with this particular processes, one more process occurs that is called as a chemotaxis. So the chemotaxis factors mediated transmigration of leukocyte after crossing several barriers to reach the interstitial tissue is called as a chemotaxis. So to go out of the neutrophils, there are so many factors are involved, right? So those factors which helps to cross the all the barriers from the vessel wall to the interstitial space. So this particular is called as process is called as a chemotaxis, right? So this chemotaxis process or the concept is illustrated by Boyden's chamber experiment, right? Where it has a million pore filter separates the suspension of leukocyte from the test solution in tissue culture chamber, and in the test solution contains chemotactic agent. The leukocyte migrate through the pores of the filter towards the chemotactic agent. The following agents act as a potent chemotactic substance or chemokinase for neutrophils. So some of the examples which are act as a chemokinase for neutrophils. One is leukotriene B4, a product of lipooxygenase pathway of arachidonic acid metabolites. And second, components of complementary system, that is C5a and C3a in particular. Next we have cytokinin, which is for come from leukotrienes, in particular IL-8, and soluble bacterial products such as formulated peptides. So this is what exactly about we are talking about. First part, that is exudation of leukocytes. So what are the processes involved? We are just rush up things, right? So this is how exactly that takes place. These leukocytes are having vasodilatation. So the vessels are vasodilated, stasis occur, right? Because of that, there is a changes in the form element of blood takes place, and the first process is next process occurs is rolling, right? So here your leukocytes are rolling towards the endothelial cells, and they get bound to the endothelium, right? Adhesion takes place, right? Once the adhesion takes place, they try to go out, right? Margination takes place, then adhesion takes place, pigmenting takes place, then they try to move out of the vessel walls. That is called as the immigration, and this process is formed with the chemotactic factors. So you can see, so these are the responsible factors, the chemotactic factors, which are help for the process of chemotaxis or the process of immigration, right? So this is what exactly about exudation of leukocytes. Fine. So next part in cellular event we are moving to is phagocytosis. So this you already studied in your physiology. So little more elaboration we are going to do in this process, right? So once these all processes occur, like vascular event, incellular exudation of leukocytes occurs, the main protective phase, or you can say the process where the bacteria is going to destroy, is a process by phagocytosis. So this is known as the definition goes of phagocytosis is a process of engulfment of solid part particulate materials by the cells, or also known as cell eating. Okay, the process or the cell performing this function are called as phagocytes. There are two main types of phagocytic cells. One is polymorph nuclear neutrophils, which appears early in the acute inflammation response, sometimes called as macrophage. And circulating monocytes, second one is a circulating monocytes and fixed tissue mononuclear phagocytes, commonly called as macrophages. And this process of phagocytes, right? So we have explained in three steps. One is recognition and attachment. Next is engulfment, and last one is killing and degeneration. So here in this process, first it has to recognize and get attached to the neutrophils. Then it has to engulf, and lastly it has to kill and degenerate that particular processes. So in detail, we are going to move further with these three type or three steps of phagocytosis. So going for the first, that is recognition and attachment stage of phagocytosis. So phagocytosis is initiated by the expression of surface receptors on macrophages which recognize microorganisms, that is monos receptors and Scavenger receptors. So we have some receptors on our macrophages as well as microphages, right? So those recognize the microorganism and they get attached. So recognition by the receptors and getting attached, right? So that is the process of recognition and attachment. So the process of phagocytosis is further enhanced with the microorganisms are coated with specific proteins, that is called as opsonins from the serum, or the are get opsonized. So the process is they have receptor and they have opsonins, right? And the process we have a called as a opsonization, or they get opsonized. The opsonin establish a bondage between the bacteria and the cell membrane of the phagocytic cells. So they give a bondage between neutrophils, or you can say polyform nuclear neutrophils, and the bacteria. Right? So the main opsonin present in the serum and their corresponding receptor on surface of phagocytic cells are, so some examples I have quoted you. So IgG opsonin is the Fc fragmented of immunoglobulin G. It is the naturally occurring antibody in the serum that coats the bacteria while the PMNS possesses receptors for the same. Then we have a C3b opsonin is the fragmented generated by activation of complement pathway. It is strongly chemotatic for attracting PNMS to the bacteria. Then we have lectins are carbohydrate binding proteins in the plasma which bind the bacteria cell wall. So these are some of the examples of opsonin. Sorry. So this is how exactly the process occurs of recognition attachment, right? So this is the IgG opsonin, right? Then we have receptors on our neutrophils, Fc receptors, and they get a bondage between bacteria as well as on the, that is neutrophil, and the bacteria get bonded, and this particular bacteria is having bacterium, right? They get attached and they get engulfed inside, right? So further we move, we go to next processes of phagocytosis. Next we are having is a process of engulfment. Once the bacteria get attached to the neutrophils, so the process of engulfment will take place. So the opsonizing particle bond with the surface of phagocyte is ready to engulf now. So it is bonded, now it is going to have engulfment process. This is accompanied by the formation of cytoplasmic pseudopod. So here the pseudopod is formed. It is cytoplasmic pseudopod is formed beneath the filament. So this particular things are called as a, this is pseudopods are formed for the process of engulfment. Okay. Eventually the plasma membrane encloses the particular breaks from the cell's surface so that the membrane lined phagocytic vacuole or phagosome lies internalized and free in the cell cytoplasm. The phagosome fuses with one or more lysosomes of the cell and form bigger vacuoles called phagolysosome. So here, once the process of pseudopod is there, then it is forming the phagocytic vacuoles, forming the phagocytic vacuoles, and they are forming the phagolysosomes. They are forming the phagolysosomes. After the engulfment takes place, the next process, the last process is occurring is killing of the bacteria and degradation of bacteria, right? The process of killing and degradation of microorganisms to dispose it of justifying the function of phagocytes and scavenger cells, right? So this, the microorganisms and the bacterial substances are degraded by the hydrolytic enzymes. They release the hydrolytic enzymes and they get destroyed, right? Killing and degradation takes place. The mechanism fails to kill and degrade some bacteria like tuberculosis bacilli. So the phagocytosis will not take place in some bacteria like tuberculosis. One example we have quoted is tuberculosis. So this is how exactly takes place, right? The phagocytic process, the recognition and all, engulfment takes place, right? We have chemotaxis, all these processes, and killing of the, lastly the killing of the microbes takes place. So here the recognition and attachment, then we have formation of phagosome, that in the process of engulfment. Once the engulfment takes place, we have formation of phagosome with ingestion of microbe, then phagolysosome, right, where we have phagosed bacteria and with the lysosome with enzymes, right, and this fusion of phagosome with a lysosome is called as a phagolysosome. Then once fusion takes place, then the process of degradation and killing starts, where there is a degradation of microbes by lysosomal enzymes in the phagolysosome takes place. So this is what the process of, in short, the process of phagocytosis takes place. Fine. So the disposal of microorganism can proceed by some processes, like one is intracellular mechanism and next is extracellular mechanism. Okay, so just for your knowledge purpose, we are telling about this because it is not there in your syllabus, just for your better understanding. So this is taken place by oxidate bactericidal mechanism by oxygen free radicals, MPO dependent, MPO independent, then oxidative bactericidal mechanism by lysosomal granules and non-oxidative bacterial mechanism, and also dispersal of microorganism can be followed by extracellular mechanisms. And this is the end of the part 3 of inflammation and healing. So just for a sum up, we have in first part definition we have taken place, we have defined the inflammation process, we have known the causes of inflammation, we have known the types of inflammation and signs of inflammation, right. In the second part we are elaborated about first type of inflammation, that is acute inflammation, where we are known about vascular events, and the third part we are studied about the cellular events which takes place in acute inflammation. If you have any query, please feel free to ask, right. You can text me on the WhatsApp your difficulty, or you can put your doubts in the Google Classroom. So this is the end of the part 3. So next we are going to start with the part 4. Thank you.